So lately, God has been showing me like the posture of my heart. And I've been spending a whole lot of time with him. As you can tell, I was uploading like every day. And then I went on a 3-day just water, like just strictly water fast, no juice, no food, just only water. My whole entire church went on this fast. And so after we got off the fast, I felt so good spiritually and physically, emotionally, like just so much clarity. I didn't want anything to break that feeling. And so I backed off from social media, including YouTube. I backed off from YouTube, from posting every day to now. I may post every other day or every 3 days, but I'm still consistent, just not every day as I was. And who knows, I may get back to that point of posting every day. But right now, I'm like just so focused on God, so focused on hearing from God, so focused on prioritizing my time with God. And so something that God has been showing me about myself is I had the wrong heart posture about receiving like money. Like I used to pray about, God bless me with money, or God bless me with another big opportunity, or God bless my business, or, just stuff like that. God, I want wealth, or, I want a great future. I want a bright future. I want this and that. So we find ourselves praying for these things. And God said that I'm going to answer your prayer. I'm going to give you the things that you've been praying and working for. You're going to get those things, but it didn't stop there. He then said, you're going to get those things. I'm going to give you those things, but they're not going to be used in the way that you think they're going to be used. And I was like, what? Like, huh? So he started going into detail and showing me what he meant. And so, like, I be praying for, just witty ideas for wealth and business opportunities and stuff like that. He said that you're going to get it, but it's not going to be used in the way that you think it's going to be used. I have a plan. God has a plan for the way that your wealth will be used. And so before me and God had this encounter, I was thinking, hey, I want wealth to bless my family. I want wealth to give back to God. I want wealth to get a house. I want wealth to expand my business. And all of those things are good. But at the core, they were for my pleasure. They were based off of my plans. God says, no, you're going to get it, but I have a plan for it. And if you're not willing to follow my plan for it, then I'll get somebody else to do it, basically. And so his plan for it is his purpose for it. My plan for it was some purpose, but I have to be honest, it was pleasure also. We get wealth, we get houses and stuff. We want to enjoy a big, nice house, nice cars, stuff like that. But God says it's not going to be used the way that you think it's going to be used. When you come into wealth, it's not going to be used for pleasure, for trips, for businesses, like you, in the way that you think it's going to be used. It's going to be used for the upbuilding of his kingdom and his people. The way that God intends to use it, it may not necessarily feel pleasurable to me, but it's going to be used for his purpose. It's going to be purpose work. It won't be pleasure work. God is not bringing us wealth for pleasure, for our pleasure. He's bringing it for his purpose. Wealth has a purpose, not for us just to, buy houses and cars. Yeah, we may get a house out of it, a car out of it, or whatever. But God has his purpose in mind. God has his kingdom in mind. God has his business in mind. And can he trust us with the wealth to do whatever it is that he's calling us to do with his money? Can we be good stewards? Can we be good managers? And if I have to answer it right now, no, I have not been. And so maybe this is why God is preparing me before he brings it. Maybe this is why he's changing my heart posture before he brings it, so that I know what to do, so that I have the wisdom to be able to manage the wealth that God is going to bring me into. God may not want me to get wealth and buy me a house. He may want me to get wealth and buy a homeless shelter. He may want me to get wealth and put little houses up in the community for less fortunate people. God, his plan is not our plan. And so that's why it's so important that we spend time in God's presence, so that he can let us know what it is, the direction it is that he's trying to take our lives into. Because God knows we'll take our lives into our own hands if we're not careful. I have done it. I do it a lot. And so that's why I have to bring myself back into position to hear from God through fasting and through praying. Because truth be told, everything that we already have is already his. Our time is his. Our money is his. The houses, the car, everything is already his anyway. And so God is going to bless those who already manage what he gives you well. How are you managing the things that you already have, that you already have possession of? What are you doing with those things that you already have in your possession? How are you using those things for yourself, for your own self-pleasure, or for the purpose of God, for the purpose of building up his kingdom, for the purpose of building up his people, for the purpose of loving others in the kingdom, for the purpose of loving and serving people God created? God cares about his creation. And that's why we were put here, for purpose work. Not for pleasure, not for self-pleasure, but for purpose work. And that's why it's so important to spend time with God and to fast and to pray, and to not only pray, but to hear back from God. Like not only for us to just voice our concerns and voice our prayers and stuff like that, but to really hear from God. Because another thing I found out is that prayer is not even really for telling God what we want and what we need. God know what we want. God know what we need. Prayer is so that our hearts will become aligned with God, so that our desires will become aligned with God, so that our will become God will, so that whatever God wants, that's what we'll want. That's what prayer is for. Prayer is to shape us to look more like God. Just keep that in mind. I know this was a short video, but when you pray for God's will. Don't move yourself out the way. Move your will, your desires out the way. Start praying for God's will. And we're going to see God begin to move in a mighty way in our lives. I'm believing it for me. I'm believing it for you. So make sure you're praying and prioritizing God's will in your life. But if you got something from this video that was helpful, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.